Abbracciami Fabio, abbracciami,
The Calcio Guys is a weekly podcast by Adriano Donardo, Gianni Delacoli, and myself, Nicholas DiGiovanni. We want to bring Calcio back to its roots in our communities and share stories from around the world about why we're passionate about the beautiful game. You can listen to us anywhere where you listen to your podcasts, including Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, iHeart Radio, and Mixcloud. Give us your opinion on social media at The Calcio Guys on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The intro song is Fireworks by Jazar. Still buzzing at ragazzi, but what is it, 10 days after Italy won the Euros? Here on the Calcio Guys, Adriano Donardo, Gianni Delacoli, I'm Nicholas DiGiovanni, and joining us from the Calcio Connection Podcast, Jerry Mancini. Jerry, how's it going?
Not bad. Enjoying the holidays right now. No football. I know that a lot of people are not, but from people like myself, I can use the break and go to work and not have to stress to get home on time to watch Lazio.
Yeah. Think about how much Calcio we've had in the past. Pretty much since June 2020, June 2020, the leagues start up again. Serie A finished, I think, first week of August. Champions League right after, and then maybe there was a month break until the next season started, and then we go completely rush through the entire season, condensed schedule and everything. Euros, and now we finally get a break. Serie A starts in a month and a day, so there's no rest in Calcio. But Jerry, are you still celebrating from Italy's win?
Absolutely. Anybody who's not, I don't know why not. Like
guys, Jerry, yeah.
I still have my car. I got my car flag still on. I got my hoodie flag on. My car hoodie flag on. And I had a few. Actually, I saw one person drive today with their car flag, and I'm like, why are there not more people? We haven't won a Euro since 1968. Like it's an. I asked my father. I went by on Sunday at my father's house, and then I asked. He tells me to take the flag off. I go, Pa, you're from Italy. I go, what? You worked 4 years to get to that point to celebrate for a day, and then everything's done the next day. Like, it's so depressing. Like the celebration. That's why I need to be in Italy for a week, so we can celebrate. They're probably still celebrating right now. I bet you if you were to fly in with like 10 flags on your back. And you went in, they'd be celebrating with you right off the airport, like right off the dock. Like, I just hated how we are not in Italy and we're not able to celebrate longer than we would like. But for me, I continue the celebrations probably until I'm done my holidays this week, and then after that, it slowly converts to Serie A.
Johnny, I saw on Twitter you still had the flags up, huh?
Yeah, we still have them. Our front neighbor still has them. People in the neighborhood still have their flags up. But I think we're probably going to keep ours till like the end of the month, and then probably just remove them. But trying to milk it as much as we can just to celebrate and be a bit obnoxious. We deserve it. We deserve to be a bit obnoxious, especially for all the crap we took past few years. I think we deserve to have this time to party.
Feel like it's like a fight to see like who's going to take it off first. It's like who's going to pull the trigger first to take off the flag, take off the car flag, it's like decorations throughout the house or on the car or whatnot. So I don't know. Listen, guys, it's a good time. We were pumped last week, and I think we still are. And I think we have the right to be pumped and excited and happy with our Azzurri as after what an incredible tournament they had at the Euros. So I think we should, like Johnny said, we should milk it as long as we can until it's kind of like passé, and then we'll move on to Serie A.
I'm not gonna lie, I took off my car flags just because I had car flags up since like the middle of May with the Habs. I was just sick and tired of the car flags just being on. I said, okay, let me take them down. They lasted a week after they won. But Jerry, we talked about Italy as a whole in our episode last week. I want to focus on one specific player, your boy Ciro Immobile. He got a lot of heat, especially for his play in the knockout stages. He had 2 goals and assists in the tournament, and those came in the first 2 games. What did you make of his tournament?
Actually, he had 2 goals and 2 assists, and the assist that everyone see, even you forgot. Hold on, everyone forgets about the assist versus Spain.
I checked UEFA.com. I checked UEFA.com before the show. It says 1 assist. If you watch the replay, he actually doesn't touch the ball, but fine, we'll give him that.
Well, is it? Oh, I have to look that up, man, because the build-up, in order, if he doesn't make that run, if he doesn't draw 2 defenders towards him, that goal never happens. And we don't know if Italy ever takes the lead in that game because they were struggling. And I know that he kind of like wasn't great in the elimination games, but in defense, when you have 11 guys parking the bus and really playing very physical against Immobile, it's not his strength. That he needs space, and he benefits off two men up front. Maybe he would have done better with Belotti alongside two strikers, like it does with Correa with Lazio. So I know that he's not as quick, but technically he can win balls. He can distribute the passes up front. I think that he took a lot of heat. Maybe the fact that people forget that these guys have played all season long, played Champions League, Coppa Italia, you name it. Then they finish their league. They go right into Euros, and it's not just Ciro who is a factor. Even England had a few players who looked kind of fatigued and didn't look like themselves. And look at Barella. Barella had a decent Euro, but wasn't as effective as we know he can be at a higher level. And why is that? Because he plays under Conte. Conte expects his players to play at a high level, and he works them down. So as the season progresses, these players, they start to wear down as well. I'm impressed with Jorginho and how he was able to play at such a high level, considering that he also played Champions League and went to the final. And I think it's important this year that he strives under Maurizio Sarri and learns the 4-3-3 now, because if he has a good season, I don't see why he's not the starting striker next year for Italy, especially that now he's playing in that kind of like role and he can understand it better. And what better manager than Sarri, who has been able to get players to play not only out of position but also at a higher level. He converted Dries Mertens to a false 9. You have Insigne, where he put to the left side and has been outstanding there. So we know where Sarri can do with his players, and he's a tactician there. So for Immobile, I think that he's taken a lot of flack, and it was always going to be the scapegoat. That's the downfall, is that Immobile was always going to be was the scapegoat. Everyone's going to say that he was useless, he didn't do anything. But people don't understand, like, when he's making runs in behind the defense and his teammates are not playing to his strength, then it's really hard to really criticize him, because if he's playing off the line and he's making runs in behind them and no one's making that pass and they elect to make a short pass, or it could be that defense is crowding the space and being man-to-man, it becomes difficult for him. And what it results is that he just doesn't know what to do after, and he's running all over the place because you have teams that are defending him well. Like I said earlier, Austria, they parked the bus. They didn't give any space. Doesn't suit him. Against Belgium, he was terrible, I'll be honest. I think that he was trying to be more of a hero and trying to show people that he can deliver for Italy, which he didn't do well in that game. Could have done much better. And then you go into Spain, where I don't think he played bad. I don't think he played great, but he had a decent game for me. And as soon as Italy scored, I know I'm judging Mancini here. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I think that once you up 1-0, it suits Immobile because now the defense have to play higher up and they have to commit more. So you got space for Immobile to attack and play to his strengths. But the false nine he went with, they did score, but that's not the reason why. Like the false nine was never the reason to why we conceded a goal. It was just poor defense. But regardless, you try to help Immobile where it benefits him, and if you keep him on, it could have helped him. Maybe scores a goal. It helps his confidence. And then you go into England, which maybe starting Belotti would have been better because of the matchup. But again, Mancini did everything right, so I'm not gonna be here to judge him because I'm no manager. Like he sees the game different than I do. Maybe I'm wrong where you say like maybe if he does keep Immobile on against Spain, it's wrong. Like it doesn't work out. So it is what it is, right?
Yeah, and I think just to even piggyback off what you were saying, Immobile has been suited for the two-striker formation, like you mentioned. Lazio has been playing beside Correa, or if it's Kaisero or whoever else up front, Lazio. And we kind of said it a bit last week. It's like when they were doing that false nine or just having two guys up front, it was when we had our subs and we saw like Chiesa, Berardi. And I was always thinking, it's like after the fact that, man, like how interesting would it be if it would be Immobile Chiesa? Because for me, that's a bit more exciting, and that Chiesa can be that kind of Correa role that Immobile is used to at Lazio. So I don't know. It's something to think of. It was definitely an idea. I don't know if Mancini is gonna, do that going forward, change everything since what he did worked for the Euros. But now you kind of hit a point with Sarri and bringing the 4-3-3 to Lazio. I just wanted to add, or if you can elaborate, Jerry, how instrumental is that for not only Ciro, but for his confidence, for him getting used to that system, and for him to be able to, take that attack by storm, coming, for the World Cup in about a year and a half with the Azzurri. Like, what do you think about Sarri's implementation of the 4-3-3? How will Immobile adapt to it? Will he adapt to it? Like, what do you make of that?
Well, the only thing I'm concerned about is that he's on vacation right now, Immobile, so he hasn't had time to practice with the first team. But
let him rest. Let him rest, Jerry.
Deserved rest. It's deserved.
It's true.
Rest.
It's true. But I wonder how. I guess he'll catch up, and Sarri knows what to do to making up to speed. But in regards to like tactics and all that, I think that his confidence, I think that it's not shot. When it comes to the Azzurri, he knows that there's more added pressure, whereas playing with Lazio, he has the support of the fans, and I won't deny that if it does start to go downhill for him this season and he struggles to score, it could kind of turn on him, and the fans maybe don't support him. I hope it doesn't turn that way where it has with that Marici. Like a lot of people say on Twitter, I've seen that it's easy to go against a player when it's not going well, and it's hard to support them when it's really bad. So, which is kind of true, that you have to be supportive in the case of this, because it's going to take time for Immobile to adjust to a new formation, to new tactics. It could maybe adjust much better, considering that he will be playing with Felipe Anderson, and there is a familiarity there that the two have played together, understand each other very well, so that can really help him. I also believe that Sarri will try to play to Immobile's strengths as well. I don't think he'll try to make him a non-factor. So even though they're in it 4-3-3, he'll make him understand what is expected of him, what his role will be, and I'm curious to see how this will work out. I've seen the first two preseason games, and two players who really stood out to me are Savic and Alberto. And I know we're playing the Farmers League right now, but I look at the little things, that the detail where they're enjoying themselves, or they're playing more attack-minded football where they're higher up the pitch, and that can really benefit Immobile because he'll have players in stride that will deliver him passes. I saw Savic give a nice pass to Alberto on his third goal, and was really interesting because Savic never plays that kind of high near the right side of the box where he's more defensive, but he's controlling more of the midfield. And it seems that Sarri sees these guys more attack-minded as well, which is encouraging, and that can really benefit Immobile's game. And another take was, regardless of how it goes to start the season, I saw, aside from Sarri last Saturday, which was really interesting, was that when he defended Vedat Marici during training, because some of the fans were insulting him and some harsh comments.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the exact words of what he said, but he basically said, "You keep insulting him, and you're going to be gone. There's no place for you here." So he showed the backing and the support of Marici after a disappointing season, and that kind of shows me that if he's doing that for a player that has really struggled, then he'll do it for his best players too. So the confidence and the support will be behind Immobile. So that's really encouraging to see. I do believe he'll have a good season. I don't see why not. People forget that this guy has scored 20-plus goals in 4 of the last 5 seasons with Lazio, which is impressive. And I know that it hasn't worked out for the Azzurri, and there's multiple factors, but I think this is a pivotal year for him, especially going into the World Cup next summer. Oh, actually, he'll have a season and a half, actually, that's another factor I forgot about, because I don't know if Mancini will take into consideration how they do the first half of next season as well. But I think he'll have a year and a half, basically, to adjust before the World Cup.
I wanted to ask three of you, with Italy, so they're already back September 2nd against Bulgaria, and then they play Switzerland and Lithuania. That's part of the September break. And then the Nations League semifinals and either third place final or final in October. Obviously, these games coming up in September are important, right? World Cup qualifying. They can't take them lightly, but how much experimentation do you think Mancini could work with, either maybe with a different formation or younger players? He's not going to take use obviously the same 26 guys as at the Euros. Like, how much leeway do you think they're going to play around with there? Johnny, you haven't spoken much, so we'll start with you.
Well, I think there's not going to be that much. I think you're probably going to take players that weren't able to, if they're fit to go, take players that weren't able to show up to the Euros, like Zaniolo, for example. Give them a shot, see how they fit in a false 9 type of formation, see if maybe Zaniolo has a place on the team. Use guys that you kind of put on the cutting room floor, see if they're kind of hungry to make a push for the starting lineup, or into the top 20 players of the team. I don't see much changes. But I do see a few names here and there. But I think he's trying to see if there's guys that want it more than the current mainstays, let's say. Because the players that won the Euro Cup right now, obviously, you don't want to break up that group. They're a good group. Obviously, they want a championship. So, why would you break something? Like, why would you break apart something that's not broken? So, yeah. I think we might see some younger players there too. Keane's an option that we're all excited for. Maybe you might play a bit more of Raspadori, and take a look at more of like players that might be, I don't want to say outliers, but pretty much like out of left field, like Calafiori, for example. I'm just shooting names because you have a lot of options. You have a lot of time. You have a year and a half until the World Cup. So you already have your core. It's identified. But there's a lot of players that were left out. Maybe there might be a better option or something unique offered by those players.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I think if there's one thing that we know of Mancini, it's that in his tenure so far, he's experimented with a lot of different players. He's brought in along many young players, middle-aged players, if you will, and like that older core too. And he's kind of made a perfect mix and a perfect blend, with all these talents. So. Is there going to be experiments, going forward with the Azzurri? Yeah, maybe. I can see that. I think obviously, like Johnny mentioned, and we've mentioned in the past, like Zaniolo, I personally think has a place in this team. Even if it's not a starting role off the bench. For me, again, Keane is another name like that. We saw Politano have a great season last year. He gets cut. For the cuts for the Euros, and we don't see him in this tournament, but he's another player that can do damage, in the attack too. So I think there's many players that can, be experimented with and have time to improve. Like Jerry mentioned with Immobile, he has a year and a half to, settle into that 4-3-3 formation at Lazio. There's a lot of other players that maybe, in Serie A last season didn't, or in their respective leagues, didn't really shine. They have a year and a half to come out a bit more. We saw at Milan, for example, Calabria had a great season, a little bit of an unfortunate injury at the end there, and didn't make the team. But another name, Sandro Tonali, like he's been a prodigy for so long, and we kind of fell off a bit. Now is his year to maybe bounce back. Romagnoli, another name. So there's so many guys that I think that have a shot that can maybe get in there. I think we will see some changes. I don't think it's, drastic because this team is still on a high. This is a good group. We've said it many, many times. They're a special group. So, I think, it's going to take a lot to stay with this high and roll it into, the World Cup. But whatever it is, I think we can all agree that we can put our trust and faith in Mancini going forward. And, we won't have any doubts.
Jerry, what do you think?
I think we just blow it all up. No, I'm just...
Yo, that's the Jerry special right there. The Jerry special. Blow it all up and start over.
I agree. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Like, I know people are gonna say bring Moise Kean, bring Raspadori, and I think that Raspadori will get the call up again over Moise Kean. I'm not too familiar with who PSG has, but I'm curious to know if you guys even know, is Moise Kean even a starter for PSG? That's the first question. Or is he?
I doubt it. With the players that are there, I doubt it. But he has an impact.
Well,
So let's just consider, okay, he's a backup option on PSG, and I know Sansone always talks about that Moise Kean should be on Italy. Moise Kean should be on Italy. Well, it's the same factor as Balotelli. If Balotelli was playing consistently right now, even it doesn't matter who the hell, he could be playing for the Gypsy Kings or fucking out in Arabia or whatever the fuck you want to call it, man. Like, buddy, if that guy was playing consistently, and I think that he could still play for Italy, given that he's only 30. I think he's still young, no?
He's 31, I believe. I think he'll be 32. I'm not sure when, but yeah, he's in his early 30s for sure.
He's in his early 30s, and if he had a great season this year, I don't see why he couldn't get a call up as the third striker. What Mancini loves Balotelli. I know this is a massive long shot now, massive.
Yeah,
but it's always an afterthought, right? Like it's always there, but at the end of the day, Italy doesn't have a true striker. And the number 9 is the only position that people are always going to question who is going to be our striker next year. Well, it's only 1 year. We're not waiting another 2 more seasons in order to see what can happen. Right? Like everything's condensed. So, and I don't know how long Mancini is with the Azzurri as well. I don't
until 2026, I believe he signed.
Yeah, he signed his contract 2026.
Okay, so he's thinking about, after this, another Euro and another World Cup, and that's it, I would assume.
Yeah.
So he's thinking short term. I don't know if he's thinking long term right now, where at the end of the day, and when it goes to Qatar, it's going to be Immobile and Belotti again at this current moment because Moise Kean doesn't play enough. Like, he's not a starter. People have to remember, if these guys are not starters on their teams, they're not benefiting. Look what Manuel Lazzari said. He's excited to be playing under Sarri. You want to know why? He'll be playing at right back, and guess what? He'll compete against Giovanni Di Lorenzo this season in order to be right back for Italy. I'm not sold on Florenzi. I think that's a blessing in disguise that Florenzi kind of got injured. You don't want to see a person get injured, but Di Lorenzo was a much, much bigger upgrade. And he did really good on the right side. Gave us creativity offensively. He was quicker, came back. Like, I just think that he suited the role much better for the Azzurri. I know that he struggled in one of the games. I think it was against Belgium. But, again, that guy was unbelievable. I think his name was Dooku or something like that. I forgot what his name was. Yeah. But this is a team that doesn't need a lot of fixing. If anything, there's Zaniolo, who didn't get the call up. Now, I see him being as a false nine late in games, say, if he decides to go to that route, where if Italy's struggling, he'll revert. And I think that's the false nine is not something that Roberto Mancini is going to say, hey, this is my new game plan. The false nine works more as a plan B, because everyone says, oh, Mancini doesn't have a plan B. Mancini doesn't have a plan B. He always struggles late in games. Well, guess what? He came up with a plan B, which was the false nine, and it kind of worked. He
also has the 3-5-2 that he can pull out if he wants. That was, as we saw in the, I believe it was the Wales game, and I think I can't seem to recall.
I think in the Austria game, in extra time possibly.
Yeah, like he swapped. Austria game, I'm not 100% sure on, but I know also in the. But I know for sure in the Wales game, he showed that he can do a 3-5-2, which is, I could say, to add to Jerry's point, a plan C. But Jerry, continue. I just wanted to.
No, we have the options. We have the options, right, Jerry? Like, I think they're there. Yeah,
they're there. Like you don't want to start with a false nine every game. That's just not. That's not a good option. I see people saying, "Well, why don't you just try the false nine?" No, it only works because when you go late into games, it kind of changes the tempo, tactics, everything that surrounds it. So you always want to start with your players in their natural positions. You want to start with a number 9 up front. You don't want to start with a false 9 to start the game. But I don't know what kind of changes he would make in terms of like going into the Qatar, but he will test things during the friendlies, during the maybe even actually I think the Nations Cup he will go with the team that won the Euro. I think that my prediction is he goes with starting the same squad that won it for him. He won't change anything because that's a more meaningful game.
Agreed.
As for the other games like the World Cup, they're already 6-0 or 9-0. I think that's where you start to like say not that you don't care if you lose or not, but if you've already qualified first place, you can tamper a little bit and say, hey, we'll try new things, we'll try new players out. Or he goes with the same starting line as well because you want to create that familiarity that everyone gets to understand each other, or you don't want to start breaking up things and people are not understanding, like there's no like relationship there, right? So if you were to do 3 games and 2 months later there's another 3 games and you're changing your lineups all the time, players are not really kind of getting that familiarity together. So that's another thing that people have to understand is that as much as you want everyone to be called up every time, you have to have the consistent players being called up where they're able to have that time to play together, because these guys don't play every day together. So that's another thing I think that I always forget as well. I always say, hey, again, Immobile, say this for people, again, Jorginho, again, that guy. And it's like, those are the best players, and they have to be there in order to play with these players more often so they can adapt. Or else, when do you have the time to, right?
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think we can all agree that also, like, we want to tie this damn winning record and we want to beat it as well. I think we mentioned it last week and just in previous podcast, but I don't know, man. We're at 34 games. The record's 35. We have a chance at beating a record that's been held by Spain and Brazil, I believe, for so long.
Legendary teams.
Exactly. So I think it's also exciting there. I know there's time for experiments. There's obviously a lot of time to do so because the World Cup is in a while, but I don't know. I'm confident going forward with the Azzurri. We're still on this high, and let's just keep it going.
And I think also we have the benefit of the fact that Mancini right now has a short-term goal, which is break that record, a medium-term goal, which is the Nations League, semifinal and final, and a long-term goal, which is the World Cup 2022. So he has already he has the Euro Cup in the rearview mirror. You won the championship, fantastic. Next up, setting the record, beating it. Next up after that, trying for the Nations League title, and right after that, aiming to win the World Cup. And it's great because they're never going to get to a period where they're complacent, where they're just very relaxed and like, okay, we can take the foot off the gas. No, it's like apply pressure. We're going to have, okay, that's our next thing up. I'm not saying you can't take a break, but what I'm saying is that we can't get comfortable, boys. There's this coming up now. We can't get comfortable. There's that coming up now. So
that's a good point.
I think they could benefit from a mentality like that.
As I said last week, job's not finished until we win the World Cup.
When is the Nations League semifinals?
Tenuto da Rice, la palla gira dentro. Gol. E c'è il pareggio di loro. Bonucci 1-1.
Jerry asked in the Nations League, it's October. It's October 6th, I believe. That's enough about the Azzurri. I want to focus on Serie A now. We are in the off-season. It feels like it's going to be a much shorter off-season than past years because, Italy won on July 11th and then July 12th. Teams are already starting training camp with players who didn't play in the Euros or Copa America. But this summer, another coaching carousel. Kind of reminds me of 2019. Coaching carousel. Gianni, both your teams change coaches. Juve changes coach, and then Jerry Lazio change coach also. I want to get your thoughts. Sort of for Napoli, Spalletti coming in, Gattuso out. Gattuso, he's not anywhere right now, right? Because he went to Fiorentina, and then he left like 3 weeks later. And then with Roma, Fonseca leaves, and Mourinho comes in, and then with Lazio. It's Inzaghi going to Inter, and then Sarri coming in. So we'll start with Gianni then. Give me your thoughts about each of those coaches for Roma and Napoli.
Well, what I like about Spalletti is that he's never shy to make the hard decision when he has to. He doesn't succumb to pressure of the fans. He might play the villain in terms of not, let's say, playing a fan favorite like we did with Totti in his last season. He didn't really play him much, and everyone's like, it's his retirement year. Just play him. And Spalletti just didn't carry, go for the win. Obviously, that hits a sore spot because it's a club legend, but that just kind of shows that he's not afraid to bend to the will of those around him. It might cause issues or friction with De Laurentiis probably down the line, but besides that, I think Spalletti will be good for Napoli. Is it enough to make us maybe a Scudetto contending team? Not at all. I still think there's a lot of holes that need to be filled for Napoli. But he would still help us probably find some unity. Obviously, I love Gattuso. I love what he brought. Just in the terms of experience with the league, Spalletti's managed the top teams. Let's say, I'm just going to maybe move my mic. Maybe it's my mic that's causing issues because I'm seeing the messages. Maybe it's Spalletti has managed top teams, so maybe that might be the X factor. He might help Napoli get back to the top four. Mourinho, though, at Roma, I'm loving it so far. It's fantastic. The guy is trying to get the best out of his players. in training sessions, he brings a drone to fly over the team and points out mistakes that they make in scrimmages and where I feel like as if where he feels they're making errors. You can tell that he's already serious, bringing a large screen, showing them play by plays for everybody to look at. Honestly, I think Mourinho could bring Roma back into top 4 contention once again. The only issue that Mourinho has, I think, is that right now Roma's not in the best position financially, so he's going to really have to dig in within and try to see if he can work something out internally with the team. I'm curious to see what he does with Mayoral. Mayoral's in his last year of his loan, and Roma has the option to buy him at the end of the year. It's not an obligation, it's optional. So if he's able to figure out something with Mayoral, it's great because Mayoral is obviously younger than Dzeko, and it helps with the whole striker situation with Roma. So all in all, these changes I feel like for both teams are positive. I really don't think that they can hit a very major snag. I think like even Spalletti himself says, if Napoli sells Koulibaly, I'm going to chain myself to something. He doesn't want them to lose key players. So that means he really believes that he can go far with this team. So just the comments that they bring to the table shows that that they actually have a firm belief that the teams that they have are capable of being competitive.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think, just to even continue on, like, Napoli was right there, right, at the end of the season, and they weren't far off. Obviously, I'm going to defend Gattuso, till the end. I love the man, and I think he brought some positive to Napoli. Obviously, now hopefully they can continue on with that with Spalletti. I see that Spalletti, he looks serious. He looks, that he actually cares about this project and about the future of Napoli. Seen the video today, singing the chants there on stage there with Zielinski and Politano, I believe it was. So you see the connection there with Spalletti and hopefully all the fans and just the team itself. But like Johnny said, Mourinho magic at Roma seems to be alive and well. Hopefully it can translate to positive play on the pitch. I don't know, Italiano at Fiorentina excites me personally. I don't know. Obviously, it would have been nice to see Gattuso there. Whatever, that didn't work out. Fine. Fiorentina finally seemed to make a right move, I guess. I don't know, but bringing in Italiano, we saw him work his magic at Spezia last season. I would have liked for him to continue at Spezia to see where he can take the team, in their second season there. But again, he makes a bigger move to Fiorentina. And hopefully, that project can finally actually kick off in the right direction. I think Italiano showed last season that he can do a lot of things, a lot of good things, at a high level against bigger teams. So it's obviously good. I think we'll leave the Saudi talk for Jerry, but I think it's a plus in my eyes for Lazio. I know losing Inzaghi was huge. They had a great relationship for so long. Club legend, if you will, as well. So, but the team to move to Inter, it's interesting because they won it all last season with Conte. Let him go, and now they're bringing in Inzaghi, who I don't know is a good coach. I don't know how the dynamic is going to work with him at Inter. For me, it's remained to be seen, but I think it's going to be another competitive year in Serie A. Obviously Allegri back at Juventus is another big move that, some players came out big time when Allegri was there. The biggest name I think everybody would say is Dybala. And this is a player that I think that can definitely shine, come next season. I'm seeing reports that he might be injured. I don't really know, but I think going forward, if Allegri can bring out, the old Dybala, if you will, I think it's going to be, a scary time for defenses in Serie A. So, in terms of Milan, I'm happy that they stuck with Pioli. I think it was the right move for now. I don't know, or in the future. But I think they need to still build on pieces. They're back in Champions League after so long. So, however you want to say these coaching changes went or whatnot, it's going to be a competitive year in Serie A. It's going to be an exciting year, and we can't wait to kick it off. Jerry, what are you thinking?
It's gonna be an exciting season for. I'll speak on behalf for Lazio with Sarri coming in and what to expect, but you know what? You got 8 different managers coming in, and it's funny how you guys just brought this up. I was just looking at a picture that I had saved for a couple of months now, and you got, like you said, Inzaghi at Inter, you got Gasperini staying at Atalanta, Allegri at Juventus coming back, Spalletti at Napoli, you got Sarri, like we just said, and Mourinho at Roma. And when you think about who can win the Scudetto this year, I think it's a coin toss because you got Juventus, who basically can't buy any players, which is great to see because normally when you qualify for Champions League, it shouldn't be an issue. But when you tie all your money into Ronaldo, that just kind of hampers your chances. But you got Napoli, who are really not buying any players, and I don't know what's going on with De Laurentiis on how he's gone from bipolar, basically, where he just doesn't want to buy players out of nowhere and is looking to sell players in a way where if it's the right price, he'll offload them. I don't know if it's the direction of what the team wants to go in. I'm not sure. I can't speak for Napoli because I don't really follow them that well. Gus, I think Atalanta could win the Scudetto this year. I think that they have a team where they're bringing in players. They got a good goalkeeper. I think that's a massive upgrade over Golini. They got Juan Musso, which I think he's top 3 goalkeeper in Serie A, along with no longer Donnarumma. That's right. That guy is playing backup goalkeeper to PSG probably, but they got 9 guys. Can you imagine? Hold on, side topic. I just thought of can you imagine if the best goalkeeper in football goes on loan because they want to sign him for the future, but they can't keep him because they don't want to pay him as a backup, so they loan him out somewhere?
Well, it's because you don't want your.
Crazy, though?
Yeah, but because in PSG, I want to go back to the Napoli point, and then I'll continue to the PSG point. Napoli point, also don't forget, De Laurentiis has spent a lot in the past couple of seasons, for players like Manolas, Lozano, Osimhen. They weren't really cheap transfers, so obviously I think this year is going to have to take a bit of an off year in terms of spending. PSG, you do that because you have the best young goalie in the world as a free agent, so it's a free transfer, so you don't even have to pay any hefty transfer fees, and you want to compete for Champions League, right? You want to win those Champions League titles. Do you really want him to seriously go to another competitor? No. It is crazy to see you're gonna get probably one of the best goalies in the world, and you have to loan him out because you still have another guy under 1 year of a contract, but you have to do that, or else I don't know. What if all of a sudden Real Madrid somehow cheat the books again and come out at a crazy ass contract offer, or maybe Barca, Borussia Dortmund, or even Bayern Munich, one of the top teams that actually can compete for a Champions League title. You have to do that. They're smart. I don't know why FIFA Fair Play hasn't come in yet to take a look at things, but I just want to add, that's why it's crazy to think, but you have to do it if you're PSG. You have to get this goalie.
But I saw a picture they have 9 goalkeepers under
9
contract.
Yeah, 9 goalies.
Are you kidding me? 9 goalkeepers under contract? That is insane. How do you imagine how much work they gotta do? They probably have goalkeepers who are not even playing game paid for how many?
Guaranteed.
That is insane. But if you want to win Champions League, which this team is still not going to do it next year, you want Donnarumma in your team. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. But I think that just to say I don't know how long is his contract for, but let's just say
2026.
Oh, so he's in a rot away until 2026. I think that.
No, I think he'll start eventually. If not this season,
should.
if you put him against Navas, I don't know, man. Seeing Donnarumma play week in, week out, and seeing what he's done for Italy, I don't see why he doesn't start. But I don't know. Let's move back to Serie A because PSG, they're on their own island over there.
I know, but I'm mad now because now hold on. Now we're thinking he's not going to get the good competition, and like he should have stayed with Milan.
Yeah,
and I think that had he stayed with Milan, it would have helped him future-wise. This could really hurt the Azzurri. I just thought about this now, and I know it's off topic. Where he's not playing the same competition where he was against in Serie A, where Inter, Juventus, Lazio to Napoli, where these teams get the best out of you. They have caliber players. And no disrespect to Ligue 1, but like when you got PSG on a freaking platinum, and the rest of the league, who even comes close to their budget? Second, I don't even know. And he's like Mike Magnon. He's on Milan now. The guy, I believe, had 22 or 24 clean sheets last year. But ask the guy, how many shots did he actually was tested every game? How often did he have to be challenged in order to earn clean sheets? And I think that will hurt his performance. But a guy like Mike Magnon coming to Milan, I think will grow as a goalkeeper now because he'll be playing against better teams. He'll adjust to the tactics and learn. He'll learn much more, like how other goalkeepers have been able to flourish. Look how many goalkeepers have become so well known in Serie A, and so thought out, where you don't hear that much in other leagues. As what we were talking before, I think that Napoli's another shout out. Spalletti, he can get his guys to play at another level. We saw what he can do with an Inter side and a Roma side that didn't have the best teams, and especially an Inter side who struggled at a very low peak in the club's time. So now he's taking on a Napoli side who has a very good starting lineup, some good depth. Player to look out for is Lobotka, and I give a shout to Joe Fischetti on that one from Forza Napoli Pod, where he lost 10 pounds, I believe, and looks much fitter, stronger. A lot of people were criticizing him last season, and you can't. I think it was his first season with Napoli last year. Giovanni.
Ooh, sorry, I was
his
on
first
Twitter.
season.
Who was it?
Johnny. Sorry, Johnny.
I think was it a second job? I don't remember now.
I know it was first or second season, but what's it called? You can't write off players too quickly, and I'll say that with Vedat Marici.
Lobotka was a season and a half, by the way. He came in January 2020. So I was saying 2, but it's 1.5.
Yeah, you don't want to write players off, and I'm guilty for like Vedat Marici, right? Where after one bad season, but here's a player that people wrote off very quickly and became a fan favorite at Lazio, is Felipe Kaisero, where he came from Eibar, had a very bad first season where I believe he scored like 5 goals across all competition. He was supposed to be a backup to Immobile, high expectations. They were expecting more. It didn't pan out. He had a few bad games, and the fans kind of started turning on him. And then what happens? 3 straight seasons, he has combined 26 goals in Serie A, becomes a caliber backup player off the bench, something that Lazio has always struggled. And credit, the fact is that you don't want to write off guys like Marici and Lobotka yet, because it's one bad season. They can turn it around the next year. You need time to adapt to the Serie A. Maybe Lobotka needs to be more fit, more lean, and that's been the case in training with Napoli, whereas Marici now has a full summer of preseason where he can prepare in order to get ready for the season. He arrived late last year. His first game didn't come, I believe, until like October. Didn't get preseason training, didn't get time to adapt to Simone Inzaghi's tactics, was often used off the bench, didn't get any consistent playing time. The last 4 games of the season, he played as a starter, and that was because there were injuries and they were out of contention for the Champions League. So these players need to get more increased time on the field, or it's hard for them to adapt and adjust to the league. I don't have a top 4 pick for you guys yet, if you were going to ask that, but
no.
we'll
That's too early. That's too
save
early.
that for before the season
Yeah,
starts.
that's
Yeah,
too
I
early.
think wait until transfer window's over to take a look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Inter is going to be is actually aside from Atalanta, I think actually Inter will be the Scudetto winner. Sorry, I think Inzaghi is gonna shine with Inter.
Well, the only thing he really lost so far is Hakimi, which is a big loss. But if Hakimi doesn't if you're not going to be playing a 3-5-2 and Hakimi doesn't fit into the 3-5-2, might as well take advantage of that and sell him if you're going to get a crazy deal for him.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, they hung on to Lukaku, which was the big thing, I think, also. So
Yeah.
going forward, it's
Lukaku and
good.
Lautaro Martinez, those two are very big to keep on.
Yeah, Nick, you were gonna say?
I was gonna say before we end the show, I saw a couple of things on social media regarding each of your teams this week. And I was gonna ask you guys, opinions on this, and we'll leave the Lazio stuff for the end, Jerry, because I know you'll have a lot to say about this. But we'll start with Azzurri. Milan releases their away kit this morning.
Oh yes,
and it's just copy paste, same template from Puma, right? From the Italy away kit. I know you don't like the Italy away kit on its own because it looks like a training top. I kind of got that feeling from the Milan away kit too, but it does look nicer, at least with the sponsor and everything. I don't know. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, when like you said, when Italy put out that kit on its own, terrible. We all thought training kits, whatever. It kind of grew on me a bit, once I saw it in action with a player number and the name and the whole, specs on it, I guess, if you will, the details to it. So it looks a bit better. I would probably consider buying it with a player on it. But in terms of the Milan kit today, yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, it's an upgrade from the away kit last season. I'm still not sure how I feel about that cream off-white kind of color. I have to see it, I guess, more in person or on the players, in action. With the numbers that I saw, videos in the back, it looks nice. They're detailing it in the numbers and in the nameplate, so it's good. I don't know. I like the color a lot better than what it is for the home kit. For me, the home kit, I don't know. It's a bit of a miss. I don't know. It looks okay. It doesn't look terrible, but it needs to I don't know. It should have been, in my eyes, it should have been better. Especially going back into Champions League after all this time to be wearing that. I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, in terms of the away kit, it's nice. I still have to see it in action. I'll probably be guilty and buy it anyways. Come the season, But yeah, I'm just excited for Serie A to start. I want to see how Milan's Mercato finishes off. But in terms of the looks, it's I don't know. So far, maybe like a 6 on 10. That can always go up though. Come the season start.
Johnny, keeping about kits with Napoli, they still haven't released their kit.
Get a sponsor, Cazzo.
Yeah, get a sponsor. But the funniest thing I saw is that they were using the kits from last season. And they removed the Coppa Italia
that was a bad look.
patch. So it's just you still see the outline, and also another what I love this picture of De Laurentiis sitting on the chair, cross-legged, just watching his team play like a nonno,
with the mountain in the back. That was a beautiful picture. I'm
beautiful
sorry,
shot.
I have to say.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are making fun of this, the whole kit situation, no sponsor situation. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really affect the on-field performance. It just, I don't know, I guess somewhat of a bad look on the team in a way.
Yeah, it does. It does have a bad look because it looks like as if you're unprofessional or you're not ready for the upcoming season. Because it should be one of the most basic necessities, especially that a lot of clubs are releasing their jerseys right now, and what's gonna look like for the upcoming season. Whereas Napoli, all the fans are in the dark right now, like what's gonna be happening. And but I think something will be released soon. You have to release something soon, or else the season starts in about 3-4 weeks. It's coming up. So hopefully there's a change coming. Hopefully we get to see it soon, and they get their fuck, what's the term? Boots to asses. Somebody could pretty much just get going type of thing. Get the kick in the butt to get going. Like, stop slacking.
Yeah. Forget the debate about like the red Lette logo. Like,
that's
old news.
This summer,
now,
do we even have a jersey?
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
And Jerry, I know you were pretty out there and opinionated about this one. Isai comes in from Napoli. I didn't even realize he went to Lazio, to be honest. Comes in, player introduction, has to sing a song in front of his teammates.
Bella
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Very catchy tune. A lot. He's gonna say he knows it from La Casa del Papel, and it's an anti-fascist song. And then Lazio fans. I don't know how true this image was. I don't know. You never know what to believe on social media, because there were some images of a banner going around saying Isai verme, worm, Lazio is fascist, and then other images going around saying fascista verme, the fascists are worms, la Lazio Isai. So the club made a statement saying they're against those types of banners, that the Lazio is fascist. So I don't know which one was real. I don't know which one was photoshopped. I think a lot of, definitely just bad reaction, right? From a player singing a song. It's a catchy song. Let him sing it. Obviously if fans are going to come out and say, Lazio is fascist, that's a terrible look on the team. I mean, good job on the team for coming out and distancing themselves from those fans if that image was real.
Well, I've been told that it wasn't real. The one that Football Italia had posted, I think they were the first. And then there's another picture. It's supposed to be that Husai is like, I don't know the words along, he's fascist or something, or we don't accept that. But it wasn't a banner saying that Lazio are fascist. But at the end of the day, let him sing a song he likes. I didn't know that the song had such significant meaning behind it. I'll be honest. I didn't know that this was even going to happen. Like I said on Twitter, let football be football. Leave the politics at home. I had a few people tell me that politics is important around the game, and these kids need to learn like what right and wrong is, and like what these songs mean, and there's much more meaning behind it. And like, no, man. It's football, man. It's not. We're not going to like a politician room to like bring in politics to the game. We try to keep it civilized, and that's it. Like, let these players be what they are. I don't think there's any intention or anything direct to the team or any disrespect from the player. It's he's doing something where he looks happy, and it was done with Alberto as well, where the two probably had no idea what was going to spark behind this. But at the end of the day, I think it's bigger. It's made bigger than what it is. And the problem is now is we all know that all teams in Italy, 90%, I would say, in my opinion, are racist. Like, let's be honest here. But the problem is that Lazio have become a public image for so many years now. If something happens, they're easy to target. Like, they just become the media mainstream where they're the number one target to go after in Serie A. And especially with the ultras and like what has happened in history, that Lazio can never escape anything. And in a way, this is just something that is made bigger and making it more difficult for Lazio. I am happy that they did release a statement, and I do believe that this team could do more in support of Husai and try to take a bigger stance, not just a statement, but maybe, I don't know exactly what they can do, but I'm pretty sure that, because I haven't really thought about it, but I'm sure they can do more than just a statement in order to support and back him up. But along the lines, it seems as if that the team will support him and make sure that he's safe and whatever comes along with it.
Yeah. But just as a more of a positive note, those black kids though, they're clean, Jerry. They're fucking clean, man. I gotta say, those black, was it the third kid or whatever?
Yeah, they look amazing, actually. I agree with you, man. They look sharp. I'm actually kind of bitter right now. Not bitter, I'm kind of mad because I'm on Twitter right now, and I tweeted out about Immobile and Insigne. They're on vacation right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said that Lazio's new left winger, Lorenzo Insigne, next summer. And I get it. Oh, it's banter. No.
That's
just
just Jerry banter.
But-
Jerry banter.
Yeah, that's
But-
just Jerry being Jerry.
This banter I don't accept, man. Insigne, it has a better striker waiting for him in Napoli with Merton. Sorry, with what the heck is it? Osimhen. And I think he's a great player. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But to say that he's a better striker than Immobile, it is not right in my opinion because, and not because I'm saying this because I'm an Immobile fan. You got to get to that level where a player who strived to score 20 plus goals in 4 of the past 5 seasons on a team that has minimal depth, and a very small budget, who's won a Golden Boot, who's won a Euro, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, he didn't do much. Well, guess what? He still won it. He's still champion of Italy. You can't take that away from a player.
Yeah.
He's won a
Who wins the World Cup without doing anything, basically.
It doesn't matter. Every player has a factor on the team. But
I'm just saying, he had less of a factor than Immobile. Nobody said anything about Olivier Giroud. So
Zaccardo won the fucking World Cup with Italy, Christ. He's the only one that beat Buffon. So it is what it is, man. You know what
I think Victor Osimhen's going to have a great
me too.
career in Serie A, but to say that you are better than someone where you haven't really established that is just pure nonsense banter for me. It's just nonsense. Like, you got to back yourself up with your banter. If you're going to say that someone is better, at least have the facts ready. And there's no facts that support Osimhen is better than Ciro. Even at the age of 31, he's still scoring goals on a Lazio team who probably has less quality players overall than Napoli does now, and still somehow he's continued to produce. So I know it's banter on Twitter and everyone's gonna have their own opinion, but when I see stuff like that, where it's just it's like saying everyone says that Chiesa's garbage because of Fiorentina. Like, get your facts straight, man. Like, it's a dumb statement. Like, there's banter. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm all for banter, but I see some nonsense banter where because it's your team and it's Osimhen, I want to see Osimhen more consistent. I want to see what he can do this season now. Let's see how he does under Spalletti. Like, and don't get me wrong, I think he can score 20 goals. Absolutely, but I want to see it happen for 5 straight seasons. I want to see him consistently, and I think that Immobile has scored over 20 goals 5 straight seasons across all competition, if I'm not mistaken. But I know 4 for sure. But still, like, to score 36 goals, he tied a record for most goals scored in a Serie A season. Like, people forget that these achievements are not easy. So to call him a flop, he's overrated. He's done nothing with Lazio. It's just. And he came to the team at a time in his career where he was at the lowest peak, and we don't. Who's to think that he would ever going to turn around after 2 bad stints with Sevilla and Borussia Dortmund, and then comes back to Serie A and tears it up for 5 straight seasons is impressive. So that's what I want to see Osimhen do. I want to see him to do it for 5 straight seasons, and then I'll say, you know what, he is better than Immobile. Absolutely agree.
I think the potential is there, and I think Osimhen has all the right tools, and I would think a good environment around him now. I think Johnny can probably attest to that, or can probably elaborate more. But Osimhen's going to come out this season, I think, more than he kind of showed a bit last season. And I would hope and I think that Napoli fans are excited, going forward.
Yeah, and you know what? We just spent the past month loving each other while cheering the Azzurri. A couple of weeks we're gonna be hating each other again.
It's time to hate each other again.
F you all.
Yeah, exactly.
And anyways, that'll pretty much do it for us. We'll be back probably in a couple of weeks. We might take a short break. We need an off season too. So season 3 of the Calcio Guys, I guess, finishes tonight. We'll start season 4 a couple of weeks, like I said. Serie A, it's right around the corner, and we can't get enough of Calcio. If I don't know if anybody watches the Olympic tournament. The men's tournament is basically under 23. Women's tournament is the best players out there. Canada tied Japan this morning. The U.S. lost to Sweden 5-0. So Italian Americans are just getting
3-0.
I thought I read 5-0 somewhere. My bad.
No.
44
games unbeaten, broken.
Yeah, Italian Americans are just getting dummied by Sweden in their soccer teams.
Man.
But that'll do it for us. Jerry, where can we find you on social media?
At JMancini8
on Twitter.
And that fine podcast that you do with a fine young gentleman. I don't know where can we find that?
Calcio Connection. I don't know the Twitter handle actually because he takes care of that. So everyone's gonna laugh. But at Calcio Connection or I just retweet the shows when I remember because I never look at my mentions half the time. But Calcio Connection is where you can find us at.
Shout out to Alex Donno, fucking great guy, great voice. I think a legend.
He's depressed right now, man. The guy's not gonna be watching Inter on Sunday. He missed.
So they bounced out of the tournament to the States. I saw that, but yeah, no, honestly, Jerry, thanks so much for joining us tonight. I know this was kind of more of a relaxed episode from what we had last week. We were such on a high with the Azzurri, and like Johnny mentioned earlier, we have that a bit now on our on the back burner and in the back of our minds, and we'll always cherish these moments. We're looking forward to the Serie A season starting. Like Nick said, we might take a bit of a break, but again, guys, stay with us, stick with us, and follow us on social media at the Calcio Guys, like we mentioned every week on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook as well, YouTube, another platform, and catch our podcast on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Give it a share, like, subscribe, and like I said, stick with us, and we'll be back soon to talk about more Calcio.
Thanks for listening.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye. The Calcio Guys is a weekly podcast by Adriano DiNardo, Gianni Delacoli, and myself, Nicholas DiGiovanni. We want to bring Calcio back to its roots in our communities and share stories from around the world about why we're passionate about the beautiful game. You can listen to us anywhere where you listen to your podcasts, including Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, iHeart Radio, and Mixcloud. Give us your opinion on social media at The Calcio Guys on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The outro song is The Last Ones by Jazar.